Don't we all love reading the trashy magazines talking about the next great big scandal happening with Hollywood couples breaking up? And it is so easy to blame the person or the cheater when maybe the problem goes a little bit deeper than that. Here today to talk with us about non-monogamy is Tracy Lippincott, who is a prominent blogger on the subject. Tracy, thank you so much for coming to talk
Thanks so
with
much
us
for having
today.
me.
We live in the Bay Area in the 60s. It was the time of free love.
That's right.
So what does non-monogamy mean for you?
Well, it's a little bit of a complex topic, but I mean, I came into it, I write a little bit about the subject, and I'm just interested in looking at why relationships fail and what relationships do work and, what makes the difference there. And I think that we often ask the wrong questions about relationships and about what can go wrong. And like you said, there's often someone who's demonized and that, ruining things by stepping out on their partner or whatever. And I think that that cheating, this word is kind of a problem. This concept of cheating is kind of a problem. I think that we need to consider what we expect of ourselves and our partners in relationships. And I think maybe that we expect too much. We expect that you're supposed to never think about anyone else, never be with anyone else. And I think that a more healthy way of looking at that would be to accept that you're going to have thoughts about other people and potentially even allow relationships with other people. But if you can't talk about that with your partner, it automatically creates a wall if you ever do have those feelings.
Mm-hmm. So you are about openly sharing with your partner about a possible hookup, let's say.
Yeah.
And I mean, if it comes to that, that would be okay with you.
Well, potentially.
Also?
I mean, it's certainly something that you have to have a discussion about. And I think that if you talk about it with your partner, if you're able to say, this is something that I'm interested in doing, how do you feel about that? A lot of times just having that conversation can sort of assuage those feelings anyway. Mm-hmm. And then you don't even necessarily need to actually branch out physically. But I think that it's very important. I mean, we always talk about communication. Every magazine, every psychologist ever will tell you the most important thing in a relationship is openness and communication. But we never tell our partners if we are attracted to someone else. So mm-hmm. there's an automatic wall there. I just think that that's something that we need to look at. And that's I like to, kind of scour the internet and news sites and things for articles and research that have to do with this, and then try to sort of criticize and implement them into my blog so that people can, read about it and kind of get a different perspective.
And how did you come to this realization that you believe in non-monogamy?
Well, I think maybe like many people, I read The Ethical Slut, which is an excellent book. The original version came out of San Francisco in the kind of crazy free love years, and it's been updated recently, but now there's a whole lot of them. There are meetup groups for poly people to meet, and yeah, I guess I came across it because of The Ethical Slut, and just kind of ran with it.
Mm-hmm. And here in the Bay Area, there's a lot of organizations that get together. And do you know about any of these organizations?
Yeah, I mean, there's a group called Poly by the Bay, or Polyconscious, by the Bay, which you can find on Meetup. That's a great group, and they have events, all sorts of events. They have kind of the sort of parties where you can meet people to maybe hook up, but they also have very casual sort of coffee and talk about things sort of meetings. It can get pretty complex if you're maintaining more than one significant relationship in your life, and so it's important to have other people who, have been experiencing that and can sort of walk you through it.
Mm-hmm. And do you think that non-monogamy would actually work realistically in our society right now?
Well, that's the trouble, isn't it? I mean, we're not really set up for that. If you have a 3-person partnership, there can be issues with the law in terms of if you have children. It's very, very tricky, and that's again why there need to be networks. You need to have people supporting you and trying to sort that out.
Yeah, and there are also people saying, like, with the spread of the AIDS disease and pregnancy, that would be an argument for monogamy.
Well, certainly, but I think that you'll find in general that people who are aware and are being, polyconscious, if you will, are probably in general, I would say, safer sexually. Mm-hmm. And in terms of contraceptives than your average, just sort of, hey, this is my boyfriend. I don't know.
Uh-huh. Can you talk a little bit about your blog and what you talk about?
Yeah, I mean, it's largely, it's called, it's So Very Clever is the name of the blog. It's soveryclever.tumblr.com. And basically, it's kind of a compilation of research and articles that I've found all over, and then my criticisms or, additions to them.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thank you so much, Tracy, for
Thank
coming. You want to tell the audience what your blog is again?
Yes, it's soveryclever.tumblr.com.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.